What do you think about the first move h4? Yes, I am not joking. And what do you think about first black's move a6? And again, this is not a joke. This is a game between Magnus Carlsen playing with white pieces and Alireza Firouzja playing with black pieces. Yes, this is only blitz game, but anyway, it's interesting, exciting, and amazing game. And I believe that you are on the right time, on the right video to watch what's happened. My name is Petr Koutný and let's begin. Magnus Carlsen is playing with white and played move h4 and Alireza Firouzja a6. So finally Magnus is going to play in the center. Anyway, the center is the most important part on the board and I love to see e4 on the board. So b5, looks like Alireza Firouzja doesn't care about center and Magnus care. Played move d4 and his two pawns are a beautiful place in the center. So let's speak that Magnus Carlsen has advantage in the center. Bishop b7, Alireza is going to attack pawn on e4 and believe me, this pawn is beautiful and important pawn. So Magnus Carlsen is going to defend this pawn by bishop d3. Knight f3 c5 and because another pawn is under attack and I believe that Magnus Carlsen is enjoying to have such a powerful center, he played move c3, knight fc and queen e2. Now even both players played strange opening h4 and a6. We are not far from French opening. Exchange on d4 and knight c3 and black's king is still sitting in the middle of the board. It's unhealthy to him. Knight g4, I don't believe that this is the best answer here. You know, Alireza Firouzja is a great chess talent, but what's the idea behind this move? I believe that black has to hurry to play short castle and maybe to go for counter attack on a queen side. But I don't understand this move. Bishop f4, knight b3. Okay, two strange knights on b4 and g4, and of course bishop on d3 is important Magnus Carlsen's piece. So Magnus saved this piece, h5, short castle and d5. Finally, I understand what's going on. This is a French position setup and it's important to see that the center is closed. Okay, in this case, both players are going to search for active play on wings. And now Alireza attack pawn, so Magnus save this pawn, queen b6. That's not only attack against or threat against pawn on d4, but maybe king on g1 is pinned, so immediately leaving a danger zone, and queen d2. Okay, now looks like Magnus Carlsen is going to defend everything and everywhere, but believe me that he's absolutely fine. Knight d2 and queen d1. Space advantage, say every time the same sentence. Okay, don't exchange too many pieces if you have space advantage, and Magnus Carlsen has space advantage. So he came to d1, a3 and queen b6 again. And this picture is important. Say that black's the most important piece is bishop on e7. Just imagine that black is playing without this piece. Almost all dark squares are weak. So that's a typical chess plan. Anyway, white dark squares bishop is a bad piece because pawns are blocked on the dark squares and it's hard to see any future for white dark squares bishop, and for this reason just think about how Magnus Carlsen is going to exchange this bishop. This is a typical plan and I believe that it's a strong and powerful plan and it's good to use in your games. So a3, queen b6 and bishop d3. Okay, Magnus is going back. He is improving his pieces step by step. Queen d2 and bishop g5. Finally, we understand what's going on. Magnus Carlsen is going for this beautiful dark squares exchange because he knows that after this exchange lots of dark squares are the biggest black's problem. So exchange, why not? And let's see this picture. I believe that here Alireza Firouzja is nearly lost. He's weak everywhere and it's hard for him to defend everything. Of course, especially if you're playing against one of the greatest chess player ever, Magnus Carlsen. So, what do you think of what's happened next? Next happened Queen D8. Of course, no mercy, no endgame, and I understand why Magnus Carlsen decided to keep Queen on board. Knight G5, there's a first attack, and F3. Nice. So G4, and of course, in case of exchange on G4, that's a deadly attack against pawn on F7. So say exchange here, black is in a big difficulties, and even this is a blitz game, I think that it's a bad position. B3, knight A5 and rook B1. Okay, no chance to lose a pawn for nothing. Again, I'm sure that Magnus Carlsen knows that no one will take his pawn because there is queen f6 and rook a1 and pawn on a3. It's not important at all. So what's going on? What is really important is if there is any chance to attack black's king, and believe me, there is a chance. So knight g8 and king g3. Again, Magnus Carlsen is leaving any danger, any threats in the future. And now queen d2, attacking knight on a5. And what is important to see here, that almost all black's soldiers pieces are on the right side. So why not to be active on the queen side, on the left side? So there's a first strike where Alireza is weaker. Knight f4, bishop c8 and rook c1. Yes, queen side belong to white's army. And knight d4, queen c3 and bishop g6. Now Magnus Carlsen saw winning variation, and I hope that you enjoying this game. If yes, feel free and press like or press follow and made my day, because this is exciting, great game. You know, both players played strange opening, but next moves make a sense. So bishop g6, wow, beautiful. Just to take here, I believe it's a check here, check, check, and winning position for white. So it's a clear that Alireza Firouzja it's not taking immediately on g6, but took on g4 and now knight h6. Second time check, and now black, I think, understand that it's game over, but for fun played king g8 just to take on g6 is a checkmate in one. What a wonderful checkmate in one is there. But Alireza saw it and came to g8, check, check, and queen c8. What's going on? Checkmate. So, okay, knight e2 check, knight c1 and queen c1. Okay, maybe here Magnus is winning after bishop h7, knight f6, knight e6, knight h5, queen e6 and checkmate on f6. But of course it's a blitz game, so it's hard to see, but never mind. Queen c1 and knight f6, bishop f7 and knight e6. Fork, and amazing performance of great Magnus Carlsen. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you saw something interesting, and if yes, just stay by me. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.